So you can be the person with ADHD and you can have a conversation with your parents. You can have a conversation with your significant other about like some of the things that's a little bit different in your mind and kind of how you work and stuff like that. And how can y'all, as people in a relationship, whether it's a parent-child relationship or a non-parent-child relationship, platonic relationship, romantic relationship, how can you understand some of these things to improve the quality of your relationship? So let's start with like, what is ADHD? So ADHD I kind of think about is attentional problems. And what do I mean by that? So people with ADHD oftentimes have distracted attention. But what trips a lot of parents up, or people in terms of self-diagnosis and all that good stuff, is that parents will see their kid and they can like do something for hours without interruption. Right? And so what a parent will do is they'll look at their kid and they'll say, oh, well, like, you know, sure, they get distracted easily and they may have difficulty at school, but like if you give them their particular book, or if they're playing with Legos or they're using an iPad or like whatever, they can do this for hours and hours and hours without interruption. So remember that ADHD is disordered attention. It doesn't necessarily mean a lack of attention. It just means disordered attention. So what we see in ADHD is paradoxically the inability to be interrupted in some cases, and very like too easily interrupted in other cases. So normally what we want is an attention kind of in here, but what we'll find with people with ADHD is there's some symptoms at this end of the spectrum where they can't move attention. And so the main kind of common element here is that sometimes our frontal lobes, we want to direct our attention in a particular place. And people who have ADHD, their frontal lobes just don't comply as easily. So this could be, I need to stop doing this and start getting to other stuff. Or it could be, I need to focus on this one thing and stop doing other things, right? So it's like distraction or inability to stop doing something. So just because your kid is able to play with Legos for 4 hours at a stretch does not mean that they don't have ADHD. In fact, if it is very, very hard to get them to stop playing with Legos, if they cannot control and restrain their attention, whether that's from distraction or overly focusing, both of those are consistent with ADHD, okay? So there are a couple of other things that are kind of just like common qualities. So one is difficulty engaging in academic work. Difficulty with motivation. These are also consistent with ADHD. So if we think about what is motivation, right? The motivation is the ability to focus our attention in a particular area for like a significant amount of time, right? So if I'm motivated to go to the gym, what that means is that my attention is going to be like, okay, like let's go to the gym. I'm going to organize things. So this is another thing that we're going to get to, difficulty with organization. All features of ADHD.